Hello friends, welcome back to the Python exercise series. In this lesson, I will be solving 10 different for loop based problems so that you could have better understanding of how to use for loop in Python. So let us start writing the solution to very first exercise. In here, we have to print all the elements of this list. This is a list of string. I will copy this list, paste it over here, and we have to print every individual element of this list. So what we will do is we will say that for item in items, and let us print them. It is not necessary that you should write item over here. You can assign any variable name. All the elements that are there in this list will be returned to this variable one by one, and this loop will execute until we do not complete this list. And whatever element is assigned to this variable, we can print it. Let us execute this code, and now you can see that it has printed all the elements of this list one by one. I'm going to copy this code once again, paste it over here. Now I will print all the elements of this list in the same row, separated by comma. So for that, what we will do is we will change the value of end parameter. Over here, the default value of end is /n. So what /n does is, as and when this print statement is executed, it adds a new line. And that is the reason we are getting all the elements printed in the next line. So we will print them in the same line, separated by comma and space. Let us execute this code. Now you can see that element of this list are printed one by one in the same row, separated by a comma and a space. Now we have got the second exercise. This exercise resembles the previous exercise. In here we have to print all the elements of a list once again, but this time this is a list of numbers. So our code will remain same. I will copy the same code which we wrote previously, and I will paste it over here, but this time the elements of this list are different. They are basically numbers. So let us paste it over here and execute the code. Now you can see all the elements of this items list are printed over here. Here we have got the third exercise. In here it is mentioned that we have to print the sum of the elements of a list. The list contains 6 different numeric elements, and we have to add all the elements of this items list and print it. So let us copy this list, paste it over here. I will also define a variable with name sum with value 0. Alright, now what we will do is we will extract every individual element of this list and will add it to the sum variable. Therefore, I will say that for item in items, and then I will add that value of item to the sum variable. So what we have done is, during every iteration, we picked this item value and added it to the sum variable, and then we updated the value of the sum variable. So this way we are adding every individual element. Initially it is 0, 0 and 1 is 1, and then during the second iteration 1 plus 3 is 4, and during the third iteration 4 plus 2 is 6, and so on. Let us now print the value of sum. We can say that the summation of the elements of a list is sum. Let us execute. Now it says that the summation of the elements of a list is 21. So 21 is the addition of all the elements of this list items. Now in this exercise, we will have to find the even number out of this list and print them. So I will copy this list, paste it in the code cell. Now I will write down the loop for x in items. So any number is an even number if it is completely divisible by 2. So the remainder after dividing a number by 2 should be equals to 0. So we will verify if x modulus 2 is equals to 0. The modulus operator returns us the remainder of the division. Then we will say that print. Now you can print the number. For instance, you can say that is a even number. Format the number that you divided by x. Now this statement will be executed only if this condition turns true. If it is true, then we will jump to this statement. Otherwise, we need not to print the number. We can execute this code now. So it says that 2, 4 and 6 are even number in this list. Now in this exercise, we have to find out all the odd numbers in this list. Odd numbers are the one which are not evenly divisible by 2. So we have got this list. Let us copy it and paste it in the code cell. And now I will write down the loop and will extract every individual number in this list, and then we'll check whether it is evenly divisible by 2 or not. So how we will do that? Let's say for n in items, and we will check if n is evenly divisible, that means it is a even number. If it is not, then it means it's a odd number. So what we will say is if n modulus 2 is not equals to 0. So with this logic, we are checking if n is not evenly divisible by 2, then it is a odd number. So if it is going to return the remainder, then that remainder is never going to be equals to 0, and therefore that number is going to be a odd number. So let us print the odd number. Format, and that number is going to be n. Let us execute this, and it says that 1, 3 and 5 are odd numbers. Now we have got the another exercise. In here we have to calculate the sum of the items of the list and check whether the sum is greater than 20 or not. So let us proceed writing the solution to this exercise. Copy and paste this items list, and now I will perform the summation of the items of the list. So initially I will set summation to 0, and then we will loop through every item of this list. So for item in items, and will perform summation of every individual item. We can also write summation plus equals to item. So once the summation is performed, we will check if summation is greater than 20, then we will say that the summation of items of the list is greater than 20. If it is not the case, we will say that the summation of items of the list is not greater than 20. Let us execute it. It says that the summation of items of the list is greater than 20. What if I set 6 to 1? Then it says that the summation of items of the list is not greater than 20. Now in this exercise, we will print first 10 natural numbers with the help of for loop. The first 10 natural numbers will be 1 to 10. In order to solve this exercise, I will be using range function. Range function returns us the iterator object, which will contain the numbers within the given range. You can pass start, end, and the step size. If you pass start as 1, end as 10, step by default is 1. You can definitely change it if you want. But now we want first 10 natural numbers, so they will start from 1 to 10. Every number should be returned 1, 2, 3 and so on. So we will keep the step size 1. So what happens is if you pass start as 1 and end as 10, it will generate numbers 1, 2, 3 till 9. 10 is the upper limit, it gets excluded. Therefore, we will have to pass a range from 1 to 11. 11 will be the upper limit, and therefore it gets excluded. If the step size is 2, it takes every 2 steps to return us the next number. So in that case, the first number is going to be 1, then 3, then 5, then 7 and so on. If you pass only one argument to the range function, for instance 10, then it is going to generate numbers starting from 0 to 9, and 10 will act as the upper limit. Now I will use range function with for loop to solve this exercise. Therefore, we can directly start using the for loop for n in range 1 to 10. So it is said that we have to print the 10 natural numbers, therefore the upper limit is going to be 11. And then we can print the value of n, and here are our first 10 natural numbers. In this exercise, it is mentioned that we have to sum all the numbers within the given range. Again, I will be using the range function to solve this exercise, and I assume that the start range is 1 and the end range is, let's suppose, 10. So we can say that start position is 1 and the end position is 10. So number will be collected from 1 to 9. 10 is going to be the upper limit. Therefore, we can say that for n in range, start position and end position. And now we have to calculate the sum of every number which is represented with n. Therefore, we will also define another variable summation, which will be initially 0, and then we will say that summation plus equals to n. Finally, once the summation is completed, we will print the summation. And now you can see that it gave us the result 45. You can change this end position or the start position as per your requirement. Let's suppose it is going to start from 11 till 20. In that case, the summation will be 135. Now in this exercise, we have to calculate the sum of all the odd numbers that fall within the given range. I'm going to use this previous code. Let's copy it. We have to perform two steps. The first step is we have to iterate through the given range and find the odd numbers within there and calculate their sum. So I will now check if n is the odd number. If it is, then we will add it to the summation. So we will say that if n modulus 2 is not equals to 0, only in that case we will add that number to the summation, and finally we will print the summation of odd numbers. Let's execute it, and it says that the summation of odd number is 75. Actually, this is the summation of all those odd numbers that fall within the range of 11 to 20, and 20 gets excluded. What if the range starts from 1 and ends at 10? In that case, the summation will be 25. This is going to be the last exercise of this lesson. In here, we have to calculate the summation of even numbers within the given range. This exercise resembles the previous one, wherein we calculate the summation of odd numbers. So I copied the code which I used in the previous exercise, and I'm going to paste it over here. Suppose that this range starts from 1 till 10, and in that case the end position is going to be the upper limit and will get excluded. The numbers will be considered from 1 to 9 within this range. If any number is even in this range, will get added to the summation variable. Now we have to check whether n is even or not. So the even number is evenly divisible by 2. Therefore, the remainder of the division should be equals to 0. Therefore, I will make slight change in the code. If n is even, that will get added to the summation, and later on we will print the summation of even numbers. So it says that the summation of even numbers in the range 1 to 10, where 10 is the upper limit, is 20. If I change this range to 11 till 20, the summation will be 60 in that case.